Minasan konnichiwa und willkommen. And today we're going to be talking about some amazing facts about the state of New York. Even though I've already done a facts video on New York City. But today we're talking about some facts about the actual state itself. Without further ado, let's get this video started. In 1664, the British Army conquered the colony of New Netherland, which was then renamed New York in honor of Duke of York. In 1765, New York City hosted the first Colonial Congress, a conference called to discuss the King of England Stamp Act. The New York Stock Exchange was founded in New York City in 1792. In 1902, New York City's first skyscraper was built. The 21-story Flatiron Building at 23rd Street and 5th Avenue. In 1952, New York City became the permanent headquarters of the United Nations. The musical The Phantom of the Opera by Andrew Lloyd Webber, or Le Fantôme de l'Opéra by Gaston Leroux, now a multi-Tony Award-winning musical and longest-running show on Broadway, opened in 1988, which was 30 years ago. New York became the 11th U.S. state in the Union on July 26, 1788, which would be 230 years ago. The first chess tournament in America was held in New York in 1843, which would be 175 years ago. The New York Post, established in 1803 by Alexander Hamilton, is the oldest running newspaper in the United States. Gennaro Lombardi opened the first United States pizzeria in New York City in 1897 as a grocery store. And then around 1905, that grocery store was then changed into a pizzeria, which is simply called Lombardi's. The Big Apple is a term coined by musicians meaning to play the big time. New York was the first state to require license plates on cars. New York has over 70,000 miles of rivers and streams. The Woodstock Music Festival was actually held on a dairy farm in Bethel, New York, after the towns of Woodstock and Wallkill refused to host it. The festival took place for 3 days in August of 1969, with over 400,000 people attending. Wow, that's a lot of people who attended Woodstock, which was one of the most important events in the history of New York. That in the music industry. Lake Placid, New York is the only U.S. city to have hosted the Winter Olympics twice. First in 1932 and again in 1980. The states that border New York are Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Some of the most famous people came from New York, including Lauren Bacall, Humphrey Bogart, Sammy Davis Jr., Tom Cruise, Tony Curtis, notorious gangster Lucky Luciano, Mel Gibson, not to be confused with Mel Blanc, Kirk Douglas, James Cagney, Robert De Niro, Rita Hayworth, Joseph Barbera of Hanna-Barbera fame, Mel Brooks, Rodney Dangerfield, Rachel Ray, Fran Drescher, Jimmy Durante, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jennifer Grey, Susan Hayward, Walter Matthau, Josh Peck, Ronald Reagan, May Castell, Mickey Rooney, Charlie Sheen, the son of Martin Sheen, Martin Scorsese, Denzel Washington, Tigger's original voice actor Paul Winchell, the Marx Brothers, Danny DeVito, comedic legend George Carlin, the Three Stooges, Joan Rivers, Chris Rock, Amy Schumer, Martha Stewart, Gene Simmons of Kiss, Tony Bennett, Jennifer Lopez, Maria Callas, Cyndi Lauper, the Jonas Brothers, Frank Sinatra, rapper Puff Daddy, Tupac Shakur, the Notorious B.I.G., Lil Kim, LL Cool J, the Wu-Tang Clan, rock band Kiss, Wolf Blitzer, Scarlett Johansson, Ralph Lauren, Lucille Ball, Opie and Anthony, Don Messick, Dom DeLuise, Lorenzo Music, etc. Some of the biggest sports teams in the state of New York include the Buffalo Bills, New York Giants, and New York Jets for the National Football League, New York Mets and New York Yankees for Major League Baseball, Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks for the National Basketball Association, and New York Liberty for the Women's National Basketball Association. Some of the most popular New York sites to visit include Central Park, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, Times Square, Rockefeller Center, Brooklyn Bridge, Coney Island, Chinatown, Natural September 11th Memorial and Museum, St. Patrick's Cathedral, Washington Square Park, Madison Square Garden, Central Park Zoo, Radio City Music Hall, Little Italy, New York Public Library, Carnegie Hall, Plaza Hotel, Chelsea Market, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, Broadway, Metropolitan Museum of Art, American Museum of Natural History, Metropolitan Opera House, Grand Central Terminal, Apollo Theater, the New York Post, the New York Times, etc. Madison Square Garden hosted some of the most historical events in history, including WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 20, SummerSlam 1988, SummerSlam 1991, SummerSlam 1998, Kiss Hot in the Shade Tour, AC/DC Racer's Edge World Tour, Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion Tour, Elton John Made in England Tour, Lady Gaga The Monster Ball Tour, Katy Perry California Dreams Tour, etc. New York is the most diverse state in America, with over 800 languages spoken, including French, German, Japanese, Castilian Spanish, Latin American Spanish, Italian, Korean, Dutch, Mandarin, Cantonese, Thai, Danish, Finnish, Norwegian, Turkish, Russian, Bulgarian, Czech, Hebrew, Arabic, Persian, Swedish, and Brazilian Portuguese. M&M's World opened in New York City in 2006, and the store is within a 24,000 square foot 3-level glass box in Times Square, and it comes in a huge variety of colors and merchandise, including those cute little M&M plushies that you can only get at the store. Nintendo World New York opened its doors on May 14th, 2005. The store sells a wide variety of Nintendo video games and merchandise, including apparel, hardware, and accessories that are exclusive to the store. On the second level, there's a bunch of kiosks with different Nintendo items, like the NES, the Famicom, Super Famicom, Nintendo Switch, and the burnt Game Boy from the Persian Gulf War that still works. The first Rockefeller Christmas tree officially lighted up in 1933, which was 85 years ago. Okay, that should be enough for the video for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment, and as always, amigos, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, sayonara, adios, and arrivederci.